Well, welcome back to Thoughts While Thinking. And these opinions here expressed are mine and mine alone, and they don't represent anybody else's, uh, including sponsors, associates, or anybody else. But we do want to thank T-Span for their help in putting this show together. And T-Span is a news digest that is primarily for the what's interesting to Texans. Well, I don't know that I'm rearranging my prejudices right now. I think I'm thinking pretty thoughtful thinking. And to start that off with, when you look at a banana and you peel it back, you still got a banana. You ain't got an apple or an orange. You've got that banana. And so we had this Bionic Woman, and we had the Superwoman, and they were just really superheroes for the girls, and they loved those heroes and gave them an ego and something to play with, like the men, the boys, and Superman and the Bionic Man and so forth. So it was a good ego builder. But right now we don't have nothing but a simulated cat. Now think about that for a minute. And we had a generation of that Wonder Woman. Now we're wondering what a woman is. Think about that for a minute. We just got to pause and scratch our head a little bit. And Disney is bringing all that stuff up and promoting it too. They're doing away with pronouns. I mean, you don't have boys and girls and men and gentlemen and ladies and so forth. Uh, and they're doing that for that magical moment when these children apparently have considered whether or not they identify with their biological sex. Well, in my opinion, these little minds of mush when the first, second, third grade, they're still wondering about how to tie their shoe. They're not worried about whether they're a boy or a girl or not, unless their parents are pushing them in that direction one way or another. And so we got this big controversy. It got to get real. We got to talk about gender sex. We got to talk about the trigenders. And we can mix and match. And we've got trans this and trans that and transams. And so we've got transgenders. Well, that's a creative name. And they got us where we got two heads on one body and none of them know what the other one's doing and so forth. And, the left, they sitting there now uh, uh, saying that they're championing women. And then they don't even able to identify or define what a woman is. So where is the women? Oh, well, here she is, old Susie. She just won her first girls' high school wrestling championship, and she's so brave and stunning young lady. Yeah, that's where the women are. Yeah, and at Christmas time under the mistletoe, we don't know what we're kissing, but we still enjoy kissing, and all this stuff is just destroying the women's sports. It's just tearing it down, knocking a wall down, and there's no place for women in those sports anymore. And Google and the feds and NCAA and NFL and all those are just promoting that same thing. So what is the deal here? We got to think about it. We got to unravel all that cloud in our mind about what's going on. Well, let's look at what identification is. If we're going to identify something, well, we got to go through the process. Well, we do a little research and then we collect a body of evidence and then we review the evidence and then we make our identification. And that's the way they go about deciding whether a plant is a male or female. I mean, we got male or female plants and stuff. We don't have any transplants. We've got some modified plants, but they ain't transplants. I mean, if you take an orange and peel off the skin, it ain't an onion. So think about that. and it's that party that championed of the women that they said, well, they can't define what a woman is, and they're wondering about that. And we can't define what a woman is either, because it's against the law to question that. Well, I was thinking that if we can have those tri-genders, we ought to be able to have in energy. Well, we can have identify this oil rig here with a windmill. And so we're going to have a windmill generating that power instead of fossil fuels. That's the way it's looking like that setup will be okay to me. Well, we identified the problem. Now that we got to identify an answer. Well, this had all started back in 1947 or before with the CIA and the FBI. And now then this year they've just about taken over and they've got us all brainwashed. They've got that cybernetic brain wrapped around there, and they're creating it. And they're using every method that's out there. They're using Wi-Fi and telephones and video and anything that we have used to communicate. They're corrupting. And so we are sitting there with that cyber brain, cyber being. And NASA has been unchained ever since they was put in existence after 9/11. And they're infiltrating our phones, our computers, and all sorts of things. And so we're left with that simulated cat. We don't know what it is. It ain't one or it ain't another. It's cybernetic, so we understand that. And that cybernetic cat pushes it on over to the mind control and the encyclopedia of mind control. And good grief, and we've got that simulated cat now on the top of our head, and we're bionic. We're just bionic. And Samuel Adams had a real potent statement there. It does not take a majority to prevail, but rather an irate, tireless minority keen on setting brush fires of freedom in the minds of men. Well, that works against us too. I mean, we can set those brush fires of freedom and the brush fires of trigender and control. Well, you know, all this stuff has got me getting most of my exercise these days from just shaking my head in disbelief. I tell you what. Anyway, that's my thoughts while thinking and rearranging my prejudices, and I hope we give you something to think about, and we'll see you on the flip side.